Manchester City 2, Nottingham Forest 0, and we are through to the FA Cup final after an absolutely sensational performance today. I thought Pep Guardiola got it spot on. I thought all of the players out there had a really good performance for the most part. Mateo Kovacic was absolutely outstanding today. And I mean, overall though, a really, really good performance in the first half especially. I mean, the way that we started the game, I thought Guardiola, the way he set up the team, really surprised Nottingham Forest. We started with a lot of intensity. We went straight for the jugular. And I think Nottingham Forest were not awake in the opening stages of the game. The first 15-20 minutes of the game, Manchester City absolutely battered them. The amount of times we were winning the ball back as well. Nottingham Forest were just pinned in. They didn't have an out ball. And I thought we were absolutely exceptional. We obviously get the goal in the first 2 minutes of the game for Rico Lewis. And a really, really good piece of play from Mateo Kovacic to shrug off one of the Nottingham Forest midfielders to slide the ball into Rico Lewis, who has a little bit too much time and space from a Nottingham Forest perspective. But he turns really well, a really good first touch out of his feet and bullets it into the far corner to put us 1-0 up in the game, and an outstanding finish from Rico Lewis. And as I said, in the first 15 to 20 minutes of the game, we just kept pinning them in. Nottingham Forest did not have an out ball. I think they probably set up wrong in the game in terms of not having those wide options in the first half. They were really struggling to be able to get any sort of momentum on us. Manchester City continued to hold the ball, to probe, to really press them. However, I think after probably the first 20 minutes of the first half, it began to slow down a little bit. Manchester City, we didn't really begin, we didn't really create any more chances from that point onwards. I think the game really kind of stagnated, but Manchester City were just controlling the game. We were not allowing them to have a sniff. I thought we dealt with the situation in the scenario really well. There was not really any mistakes, you know, like we've seen earlier in the season, a lot of players giving the ball away cheaply. There was really none of that, apart from one moment in the second half, which we'll get onto. But I thought really, really good stuff in the first half. Complete domination, controlled the game. Nottingham Forest did not have a sniff. However, in the second half, things did change. Nottingham Forest did pose a lot more of a threat. Nuno Espirito Santo did, obviously, he realized that in the first half, they didn't have the whip. So he brings on Alanga. He has that pace and that athleticism in the wide channels. Callum Hudson-Odoi gets down the left-hand side. He whips in a ball early on in the first half to Alanga, and he gets a really good opportunity. Gvardiol a little bit sloppy to allow him to get on the inside so easily, but he misses the chance, luckily enough for us. And ultimately, that was the warning sign, and we responded. We responded very well by scoring ourselves from a corner only minutes later. Gvardiol with an absolute bullet header into the far corner, and I've got to say, look, it's poor defending from a Nottingham Forest perspective. Gvardiol completely unmarked in the box, allowed to get his run up on the ball. A brilliant ball from Marmoush into the box, and Gvardiol pounces on it, and it's 1-0. Sells comes off of his line, but does not commit to claiming the cross. And it's a really comfortable goal from Gvardiol, and that puts us 2-0 up in the game, and a really, really big moment because Nottingham Forest were just beginning to gain a little bit more of a foothold in the game. And in the second half, I thought they did well. I thought they actually asked us some questions. We'll get onto some of the chances they had in just a second, but I thought Manchester City, to respond to that moment, we did really, really well. And I thought overall we controlled the game and played very well throughout the game. But as I said, Nottingham Forest did have their chances in the game. Absolutely. There was the chance, first of all, from Morgan Gibbs-White, the volley, which is an absolutely spectacular hit. To be honest, completely honest with you, it deserved the goal. I mean, the way that he kind of just pauses, waits for it, allows it to sit to him, and then the connection that he gets with it is absolutely perfect off the volley, and it crashes off of the bar, and we're just lucky. We just got to be completely honest. We are lucky. Then once again, Nottingham Forest get another big chance in the game. We give the ball away really sloppily through Gvardiol. He doesn't have any options on the ball. He gets back onto the inside to try and find a pass or clear it that way. He's under pressure. He then tries to poke it away. Then at that point for me, I expect Ortega to deal with it. Ortega just stands there. He just freezes. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what he's doing. And it allows Morgan Gibbs-White to take that touch past him. Really, really poor from Ortega. I was going mental at the time. And it allows the open goal for Morgan Gibbs-White to slot it into. Luckily for us, and it was just our day today, he misses. Morgan Gibbs-White misses. It hits the post. It goes out, and we are very, very lucky. I've got to be honest at that point in the game. We could have very easily been at 2-2 at that point. And although I say it could have been 2-2 in the game, I still obviously think that we had a good performance in that second half. The way that Nottingham Forest kind of upped the ante in the second half to match our level, that's a credit to Nottingham Forest. That's a credit to Nuno for making the changes at halftime to bring Elanga on. But although they had their chances, we were still a threat in that second half. We were transitioning ourselves. We were creating chances. We were having shots off on goal, almost getting that third as well. So we had our own chances in the game in the second half. It wasn't like we were playing poorly. It wasn't like Nottingham Forest then got over us in the second half and they were playing better than us. I thought in the second half it was a really evenly matched game. In the first half I thought we absolutely dominated. And Mateo Kovacic for me was just absolutely outstanding today, and he won the FA Cup Man of the Match award, deservedly so. He was the one in the midfield who was making everything happen. He was making it tick. He was getting on the ball, carrying it through the midfield when we needed him to. He was passing it obviously through the lines when we needed him to. Really, really creative, really, really effective today. And I thought he ran the game in midfield. So Mateo Kovacic was outstanding today. And yeah, I'm just absolutely ecstatic that we are now through to the FA Cup final against Crystal Palace, which I really do give us a chance against Crystal Palace. Obviously, they have a decent record against us. They have beaten us a few times. But against Crystal Palace in an FA Cup final, you would favour Manchester City. And the fact that we are there, I am over the moon, because it gives us an opportunity to win this trophy for some of our older players in the squad that will be leaving at the end of the season. You know, your Kevin De Bruyne's, your Bernardo Silva's, possibly others as well who will exit this summer. So it's a great opportunity to win this trophy for those players, the ones who really, really deserve it, have given absolutely everything to this football club, to give them a send-off in what has been a pretty poor season from the way that we've played at the majority of time. I think that would be absolutely outstanding if we could still win a trophy, still win an FA Cup, send off players like De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva with a perfect send-off. I would be absolutely over the moon with that. Now moving into the player ratings, and starting off in goal with Ortega, I'm going to give him a 6. Now some people might think that is a little bit harsh, and I understand why some people might think it's harsh, because he made a couple of good saves towards the end of the game. But that mistake for me, it was really, really poor. And for that, I'm going to give him a 6. Now, Morgan Gibbs-White really should have scored that opportunity. Gvardiol admittedly does make the first mistake, but for Ortega to stand there and not react and not do anything and just allow Morgan Gibbs-White to pounce on it and go by him, I thought was exceptionally poor, and it could have cost us in the game today. So for me, I'm going to give him a 6. Let me know if you think that's unfair in the comment section below. Moving on though to Matheus Nunes, I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he was solid today. Not really any defensive mistakes. Going forward, I thought he was, pretty decent overall. We didn't really create that many good chances, but for overall, he had a solid game. So I'm going to give him a 7. Then going into the centre backs, I'm going to start with Diaz. I thought he had a good performance today. He was really poor in the last game. However, I thought he played well today. He was really mature on the ball, didn't really make any mistakes, defensively solid. So I'm going to give him a 7 today. I thought he was really good. And then for Gvardiol, I'm going to give him a 9, scoring a crucial goal at the point he did in the game to make it 2-0. Really, really, really good header. I mean, the way that he just charges into the box, bullets it into the far corner, a really strong, powerful header. I love headers like that. But defensively, I thought he was really strong as well today, reading situations, making key tackles, interceptions. Really, really strong performance from Gvardiol today. So I'm going to give him a 9. I thought he was outstanding. Nico O'Reilly as well, I'm going to give him an 8. Again, a really good, mature performance from him, especially even there was a moment where Elanga tried to take him on for pace and he matched him for pace. He's a scary talent, honestly. The ability he has on the ball, the strength as well he has to hold people off, turn people, get strikes off on goal, put balls into the box dangerously, intricate passes in the box. Really, really impressive stuff from Nico O'Reilly. And every single time I'm watching him, I'm getting more impressed by him, which is a great sign. So Nico O'Reilly gets an 8 for me. Moving into the midfield, I'm going to start off with Lewis. I'm going to give him an 8. Really, really solid performance today. Really could give him a 9, to be honest. He was really good. Obviously, that goal, really good first touch out. Fires it into the far corner. Great strike from Rico Lewis. I did not expect him to finish that so well. And yeah, Rico Lewis overall, I thought had a really good performance today. Neat passes. Rico Lewis is a really technically astute footballer. So you kind of expect that from him. But I thought he was really good today. Kovacic, I'm going to give him a 10. How could have he played better? Honestly, I don't know what else he could have done in the game. Defensively, really good, pressing off the ball, on the ball, carrying it through the lines when he needed to, and then other times as well, incisively playing it through the lines. That was that one ball he played through. I think it was to O'Reilly in the box. Absolutely outstanding ball. I think he was just it was just a perfect game from him today, and I thought he was unbelievable. Bernardo Silva, I'm going to give a 7. He worked hard. There was that one mistake I think he made late in the game where he gives the ball away for a transition for Hudson-Odoi. A lapse of moment of concentration. But I thought overall he was quite good in the game. So I'm going to give him a 7. He was solid. Moving in to Grealish, I'm going to give him a 7. I don't think he impacted the game quite enough, in my opinion. One thing that really frustrates me about Grealish is the fact that he'll get the ball near the edge of the box, and every single person in the stadium is thinking, shoot, just shoot. You've got it on a great angle on your right foot. It's a great bender into the far corner, and he always looks for the pass. He never takes the shot, and that does annoy me a little bit. And so, don't get me wrong, sometimes he can find a really smart pass inside the box, and I go, okay, fair play. But there's other times where he passes the ball and just flicks it onto someone else, and you're just like, take authority of that moment. But that's one thing that frustrates me about Grealish. But I do think overall, he played well today, holding the ball up, winning free kicks. The typical stuff Grealish does really helps you control a match of football, really secure in possession. So yeah, Grealish had a solid game today. And then for me, Savinho is going to get a 7. You know what? Might give him a 6, actually. I'm going to give Savinho a 6. The reason why I'm going to give him a 6 because I felt like there were times in the game where he got into really good positions and his end product was quite disappointing at times. And it's a little bit of a theme with Savinho where he's obviously an exceptionally talented footballer. There's no doubt about that. The pace, the ability he can go either way, beat defenders quite easily. He's a really, really good footballer. But his end product in the final third needs development for sure, because there's times where he makes the wrong decision. He takes the ball off of someone. He doesn't quite know what to do when he gets that opportunity in the box. So for me, going to give Savinho a 6. And then for Marmoush, I'm going to give him an 8. He didn't get a goal today, but he put in a fantastic ball for the Gvardiol goal from the corner. A really, really good ball into a dangerous area. And overall, he's just dangerous. He's always lively, trying to make runs in behind. He spins in behind. He'll come short. He's just a danger everywhere on the pitch. And he's really, really impressive. For me, he's played better than the stats that he's got so far. And I know obviously there's been quite a few games where he's not scored goals, but he constantly looks like a threat. And I just know that he's going to score a lot of goals in a Manchester City shirt. I'm absolutely sure of that. Then for the substitutes, I'm going to give Nico Gonzalez and Foden both a 6 because they didn't really have that much time on the pitch. They couldn't really impact anything, and we didn't really get to see enough of them when they were on. And then on top of that as well, I'm going to give Doku and Gundogan both 7s. I know it's a little bit of a difference when they came on the pitch. Gundogan really secure in possession, gave us some good passing options, and Doku as well, winning some free kicks. Just typical Doku stuff, beating players, exciting, and he's really, really maturing. And it's a little bit of a shame actually that Doku is becoming this kind of substitute player, because I think he's more of a sub-impact. I think he can be more than a sub-impact. I would like to see him start more games at the moment. But overall, Doku was good when he came on as well. And if I was to give Pep Guardiola a rating, which I've not actually done on this channel when I'm doing player ratings yet, I would probably give Pep Guardiola a 9 today. I think he got it tactically spot on with the way he set up the team for the game. Caught Nottingham Forest off guard. Really, really solid display from Pep Guardiola in terms of just choosing a starting 11 outside of the box. I would have not expected to see that 11 today. I was shocked when I saw it, seeing Grealish, Rico Lewis in there. But it worked. It worked. So fair play to Pep Guardiola. Really, really impressed by the performance today. We dug in the second half. Yes, Nottingham Forest had some chances, but we had some chances as well. Really good performance. I'm so much looking forward to the final against Crystal Palace. But yeah, absolutely massive performance. We've got some big games between now and the end of the season to secure Champions League football, win the FA Cup final. If we do both of them, you got to say it's a solid season, man, considering, the way that we've played at times, the period that we had where 1 win in 13 games. To think at that point in time that we were going to be finishing the season potentially with a Champions League spot and an FA Cup, I would be absolutely over the moon. We've obviously still got to achieve it. There's lots of football still to be played, but really, really positive stuff, and we're starting to get into a groove now towards the end of the season, so really exciting. But yeah, that's all for my match reaction and player ratings today. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of the game, and yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you do enjoy the content, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.